Our value is actually becoming a consumer empire. And now that we have millions of users, we're starting to actually execute on our brand scheme. We see Moongate as a gateway for users to access and utilize different Web3 technology. I want them to see it as a viable opportunity that they can participate in, that's not too difficult, and almost like just like a one-click solution. That's what Moongate ultimately is.
When you pitched us, the number of customers you had stood out like a sore thumb. And you had this real-world engagement that really blew away anything in Web3.
99% of like crypto applications and platforms just exist online. To me, that's a missed opportunity because obviously there's a ton of other opportunities offline. All of the top Web3 conferences are utilizing the Moongate technology. Brands like Token 2049, Binance, and actually even outside of Web3. Ultimately, all of these brands also recognize the potential in the human interaction and being able to record that engagement and reward people based on that.
30 years from now, what's your place in history?
I hope that in 30 years, I would be seen as someone that really unlocked a ton of Web3 opportunities. I want to be seen as the guy that really pushed that needle and really moved that forward. I was in private equity before. I could have made a lot more money, but what I wanted to do is really change the world and really use Web3 in a real, tangible, meaningful way. That's something that money cannot really give you.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Jon Mui, the investor, entrepreneur, and Web3 expert. You are the co-founder and CEO of Moongate, a next-generation protocol redefining how value is created and exchanged in the $1 trillion attention economy. You're building what you call an attention asset protocol, a brand new infrastructure that aims to shift power away from centralized platforms and back into the hands of brands, creators, and consumers. Moongate has pioneered an innovative engage-to-earn mechanism that allows your 2 million users to be rewarded not just for attention, but for meaningful participation, giving them a stake in the ecosystems they help build. You've said this isn't just about blockchain or brand engagement, but about creating a more open, decentralized, and equitable internet where value is shared and attention is earned, not extracted. Jon, welcome to London Real in Dubai.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Look, it's great to have you here. I want to start by saying that Moongate is one of our portfolio companies here at London Real Ventures, the world's first media-powered investment firm, where our mission is to transform the world by investing in cutting-edge Web3 and AI companies while giving our partners marketing exposure across the London Real media platforms and academies. We heighten awareness, create customers, and build communities by leveraging our global audience and extensive network. Jon, super excited to be part of this journey with you. So let's jump in. What is Moongate?
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's always been great working with Lyndon Reel and all the kind of media exposure. Fantastic. Just quickly about Moongate, I think I'll dial it down and just make it simple for our audience. Effectively, we see Moongate as a gateway for users to access and utilize different Web3 technology. And simply put, there's basically two layers on our kind of ecosystem. On the surface, we have what we call kind of like an onboarding layer, whereby we issue tokens, digital assets to retail users so that they can easily kind of complete kind of different activations, different engagement in their real life activities. And we've had a ton of success on that front with ticketing, membership, etc. And I mean, we'll highlight that a bit later, but I mean, we work with top brands in Web3 and also Web2 and have a ton of success in bringing in fresh, new retail users into Web3. And once they enter into our ecosystem, that's kind of where our second layer comes in. Our second layer is basically an application layer, whereby all of these users can actually then utilize Moongate to access different Web3 native applications. You mentioned earlier in the introduction that we have this engagement system where basically people can monetize their engagement data. And that's kind of one of the exciting pieces that we've been building and super excited to share more about. But another piece that we've also been building is actually a platform where people can actually start to copy trade top traders in crypto. And effectively, I think how the audience should see Moongate is that it's an access point for users to access all of these cool, innovative applications that's only possible through blockchain technology. And so over time, we'll continue to develop and incubate more of these Web3 applications to share to our millions of users that are already on Moongate. And I would say basically what we're trying to build is an empire for Web3 consumer applications. And so, yes, we started off with ticketing, but that's really not our end goal. That's just our plan to kind of expand our top funnel to bring in a ton of new users. And now that we have millions of users, now we're starting to actually kind of execute on our grand scheme, which is these consumer applications where we can bring more value to Moongate and also bring more value to our actual users. But yeah, that's a kind of quick intro of Moongate. Happy to kind of dive into any more of that as we continue this conversation.
You know, I distinctly remember when you pitched us that the number of customers you had, real world customers, just like stood out like a sore thumb. And you had this real world engagement with people via, you know, your ticketing platform in early stage that really blew away anything in Web3. And again, these people had like a physical interaction with you where they had a ticket with your logo on it when they went to a token event or a Binance event. And that got our attention. It's one of the reasons we really were excited to partner with you, because you could then take these customers that had been activated, not just on a wallet or not just engaged with the DeFi exchange, but they had like more of a real interaction with you, and then you were taking them to other pieces. Is that one of the things that makes you very different than most of the Web3 protocols?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I would say like 99% of like crypto applications and platform just exist online, and there's not much kind of real interactions and not much connection to our real day-to-day life. And to me, I mean, that's a missed opportunity, because obviously, like, yes, there's a lot of real use cases online, but we also see that there's a ton of other kind of opportunities offline. And so that's where we stand out. And as you mentioned, we are actually the biggest NFT ticketing player globally. And we actually power major conferences. Basically, all of the top Web3 conferences are kind of utilizing the Moongate technology. There's brands like Token 2049, Binance, and actually even outside of Web3, we power kind of quite a few Web2 music festivals and talk to major brands to kind of utilize our tech. Because I think ultimately all of these Web2 brands and Web3 brands also recognize the potential in like the human interaction and being able to kind of record that engagement and kind of reward people based on that. So that I think even us kind of talking in person, that's a lot more kind of rewarding and remarkable versus just if we talk on Zoom or just text on Telegram. And so I think we are really the pioneer in kind of focusing on that in real life interaction piece. And I'm very excited that has worked out well for us in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's big. And those are big names that you've partnered with as well. I mean, how do you go from tickets to copy trading? That's quite an evolution. I like the fact that you didn't just stay with the tickets, because there are Web3 plays that solely focus kind of on the ticket experience and competing with other ticket people. Yeah, how did you open up the aperture and say, okay, we can make this so much bigger?
Yeah, so I mean, the way I see it is that I've always seen our platform as just like a consumer empire. I don't really see ticketing as our end goal whatsoever. I'm sure a kind of maybe guest knows, like when you do a startup, obviously you start with like a small niche, you kind of try to solve that, and then you expand out. For us, I mean, we solved that ticketing need. I mean, we've dominated the ticketing space, and we realize where our value really lies. It's not in, okay, selling tickets. Like, yes, we do that and we make kind of quite a bit of revenue from that. But actually we realize where our value lies is in our user base, and it's in our ability to bring in fresh, new retail users into the Web3 space. And when I look at that and kind of think of different ways that we can actually capitalize on that, I realize, you know what, we don't have to be a ticketing company whatsoever. Like, ticketing is just our way to expand our top funnel and bring in more users to other applications that we may build or incubate. And because of that kind of realization, I just thought of, okay, you know what are kind of a couple of like clear product market fit themes in crypto that definitely make sense. And to me, obviously one is like speculation and trading. Like, that's the reality of crypto. Most people do that. Unfortunately, 99% of people lose money. I mean, I'm barely profitable, but still, like, I would say I've definitely had periods where I lost a lot of money too. But regardless, even if people win or lose money, I recognize that everyone is just addicted to trading. However, as mentioned, we know that most people lose money. And so I just thought of a way, you know what? I recognize that there are top traders out there, like the top 0.1% of people, that actually makes tens of millions of dollars. Whereas everyone else loses. So how can I actually make it so that our user base can tap into and copy these top 0.1% traders? And that's kind of how the idea of copy trading first started. And I mean, we're about to release our beta for that product in about 3 weeks. And effectively, on a high level, it just allows all of our users to copy trade literally the top 100 on-chain wallets, and kind of do like perps trading, spot tradings, all powered by Hyperliquid. So Hyperliquid obviously is one of the hottest kind of chain and kind of platform out there. And we also see the potential, and we want to also capitalize on that as well.
Interesting. And Hyperliquid is known as kind of the DEX that's more like a SEX, right? Yeah. The one that might actually replace centralized exchanges, which most people in crypto see as a good thing. Why choose them as opposed to working with other centralized exchanges on the copy trade?
So I think the number one answer is that with centralized exchanges, you always have the risk of them just taking your money. And that has happened to me with FTX. And I lost a lot of money with FTX because of that centralized party risk. I think with Hyperliquid, I mean, it's fully kind of self-custodied, so all your funds are owned by you. And I also recognize that actually they, in terms of volume, obviously as a trader, that's kind of one of the most important thing. In terms of volume, they're already at about 30 to 40% of Binance level, which is basically liquid enough for you to just actively trade in size. And then finally, I think the reason why we were kind of partnering with Hyperliquid here is because, I mean, they have built their platform such that they really welcome kind of people like us to build on top of them and actually provide kind of a mutually beneficial system for us to build applications and also kind of monetize on that. And so for us, we've evaluated all the different DEXs out there, and we realized Hyperliquid is definitely the place to go, and that's kind of where we why we decided to build this copy trading application on that.
Okay. Now, they recently had an issue. I think they had to delist a meme coin on there, and there was a little controversy. Do you see that as just kind of a growing pain of something that is decentralized, having to deal with kind of real world issues where sometimes there's manipulation going on where you're going to take a big loss? Was that a positive, a net positive, that it was like a learning experience? What did you see from that? Because we all want this to work. We've all had issues with centralized exchanges, not the ones you're talking about as well. They also rip out fees we don't know about. They front run. I mean, look, I worked on Wall Street for 15 years, and these guys are just stockbrokers in disguise. There's nothing blockchain about them. They're just stockbroking digital assets. And on Wall Street, we got 100 tricks to take your money and 100 more when you figure those out. And I try to teach my students all the things, and they're like, oh my gosh. And so I'm the first one to want to get rid of that. But there's also growing pains when you try to do that. What did you make of some of this recent news?
Yeah, so I think with all kind of new platforms, especially ones that are fully kind of decentralized and all transactions are on-chain, it's very, conducive to manipulation like that and be affected. I think it's just a reality of a platform that's on-chain. But I think with Hyperliquid specifically, they dealt with the situation quite well. And they've also then progressively made changes to how their system operates, where, again, their kind of validators can vote to delist kind of lower liquidity tokens to prevent that from happening. But for us, like that kind of situation was also quite eye-opening for us building that copy trading platform, because we recognize that when people copy a good trader, sometimes they don't actually want to copy every single token trade that they do. Because what if, like, they happen to trade something that's super illiquid or manipulated, and then as a user, you would be actually kind of screwed from that situation. And so for our platform, we've actually built in blacklists of tokens, meaning on our platform, you can actually just say, hey, I only want to trade, I don't know, the top 20 tokens on Hyperliquid, and everything else, let's just blacklist it and not execute those trades. So because of that incident specifically, that helped us build in that safeguard for us to protect our users. So I mean, in hindsight, I think it's good that Hyperliquid went through that, because if we had not gone through that, we wouldn't have built in this kind of blacklist idea for our platform too.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it's good to learn from this and kind of iterate. What's on tap for the next 12 months for Moongate? I know you're traveling all around the world. You're really experienced in these B2B plays and these massive corporations, which takes a long time, but that's some of your IP, I would say. What are some of the big corporations you want to land, and what do you think it actually evolves into in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so I mean, the way, where I sit, I kind of just focus on two things. Number one, continue to expand our top funnel. As mentioned, we just want to ingest more and more users to Moongate ecosystem. And second of all, continue to expand our application. So in terms of like the top funnel, I mean, we've, as mentioned before this conversation, we're talking to quite a few major Web2 brands that are interested in our tech. And what's interesting is that back then, it was very difficult to even get contact with these Web2 organizations. But throughout kind of the last couple of years, as these organizations start to attend these major Web3 events and see our tech in action, they realize that, hey, actually, it's such a good experience, and it's actually beneficial to users without additional headaches. And so because of those interactions, they actually reach out to us. There are a lot of international brands that we're in conversation with, and there's a ton of exciting activations that we're in talks of building with them. I mean, at this stage, it's a bit too early for me to share, but we're super excited about that. So in the next 12 months, we're definitely focused on doing that. That's kind of one of my kind of major items. The second piece, as I mentioned, is these applications. I want to create and incubate these applications such that even by itself, it's a very successful and kind of a real business by itself. But together with the entire Moongate ecosystem, it would allow it to grow even faster. It can help tap into our millions of user base and just have a really different growth speed versus the average, I guess, like Web3 platform, because I would say the average Web3 applications doesn't have the millions of users that we have. And I think that's where we are trying to play to our advantage of having a massive wide funnel and continue to grow on that. And so it's a very exciting kind of next 12 months for us. And I mean, I'm more excited than ever now that we have launched our token, and now we can kind of focus on actually just building and continue to growing Moongate.
Let's talk about the token and the launch. You know, a lot of Web3 founders are going to be listening here. They haven't launched their token. What can you tell them now that you've done it about a token launch? What are the do's and the don'ts? What are the lessons you learned? What are the things you would do over again? And what are the things you wouldn't do again? And then we can maybe talk about the future of the token, but maybe talk about that.
Sure, that's a really good question. I mean, in terms of like do's and don'ts, I think number one, like don't over-engineer the whole thing. I mean, we spent a lot of time designing different mechanisms, et cetera, to try to make it work. Like
media and the roadmap and the influencers and the engagement and the airdrops, that?
Yeah.
And you think it was sometimes...
Some of it is like quite distracting and actually not that net positive.
Okay.
Of course, like there are certain kind of elements that are very kind of useful, but I would say like what actually matters at the end of the day is having a good product where your token's actually integrated well. And I think, to be honest, like for us, that's kind of a point where we could have done better because at the time when we launched our token, the token itself.
How do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yatsu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside I view is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the Investment Club.
Was not really utilized just yet. Like there wasn't really that much utility on it besides like governance. I think in hindsight, like what we could have done better is actually building in those kind of different token utility, token sinks on day one, such that our token holders can see that, hey, actually we can use Moongate token to do this and that. And that's kind of where we are kind of doing now. I mean, like the tokens would then, in the future when we're kind of building this, be able to participate in different applications. If our applications launch a token, you can participate in the Moongate Launchpad and get first dips into these awesome projects. And I think the other kind of key learning point that I have is really don't see like launching token as like the end state, right? Like I know a lot of people are just trying to sprint to that and just think, okay, once I launch token, everything is done. That's a very naive way of thinking. And
that's when your real problems begin, right?
That's really when your real problems begin. And that's when you start to own the community on where you have to now execute to prove that, hey, this is why you guys bought into me and this is why you guys are right. And that takes a long period of time to kind of develop, right? And so I think for us, if I were to do it again, it's just that mindset, knowing that, hey, this is not the end. Yes, it's very difficult to even get to that stage, but we have to recognize that, hey, this is just the beginning. Now we have to focus on actually execution and building and continue to grow so that our token holders and our community would be rewarded for their trust in us. And so that's what we're doing now. That's why we're continuing to build. That's why we're out here doing these interviews. I mean, I think a lot of other crypto projects, once they've launched a token, sometimes they would just kind of disappear and kind of fade into kind of nothingness. But for us, we have a real product, we have real revenue, we have major clients that are onboarding with us all the time. So we're definitely here to stay. And even though kind of, to be honest, in the short term, our token price have definitely been depressed, I actually think that now it might be a very good opportunity to kind of reevaluate our token and see, hopefully you guys agree with us in our direction and our vision of building a Web3 consumer empire, and see that, hey, we do have that real traction to back that up. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because you launched your token like so many people have in the last 3 to 6 months, and a lot of these tokens are depressed, much below their TGE price, sometimes 80, 90% below. And everyone's sitting there going, oh man, this kind of sucks. Now, some people are looking now and saying, okay, where are the gems here? Where are the potential M&A opportunities? Where are the things that really have value? How do you make a case for them that Moongate is one of those things? And you mentioned the utility. How quickly can you engineer real world utility into your token to where it actually has a purpose, its value can go up because it will do things, or that you actually have a real launchpad coming up and it will give me access to those things? Like, how soon can you execute on those? What would you tell people that are looking at you saying, wait a second, these guys have 2 million users. I see their logo when I go to Binance conferences and token. This is something special. How do you then explain that the token is also something that's going to appreciate?
Yeah, I think the reason why we're kind of where we are today, obviously, I think a lot of projects when they launch, token price do kind of go down. I think the reason why I think the kind of retail is pricing us where we are today is because they're just seeing us as a pure ticketing play. And in my opinion, that is actually a miscategorization. Because like I said, our value is not actually in just monetizing on ticket sales. That upside is quite limited. I would say our value is actually becoming a consumer empire and being able to utilize the massive user base that we have and be able to funnel them into different applications that we have, and be able to design our tokens such that it's actually accruing value as our kind of applications grow. And so that's why I would say we're definitely mispriced. In terms of how quickly those Launchpad can be implemented and these kind of token utility can go live, actually the tech itself is very, very easy. Doing the Launchpad. What we're actually more focused on is building the application well, such that, like I said, by itself, it's actually a very real product that's very profitable and where it's actually bringing a ton of real value to our users. And we think that once we get there, then we can kind of turn on the Launchpad switch, just almost overnight. So we want to, we see a lot of projects where they launch without anything built and just kind of selling air. We don't really like to do that approach. We much rather build something that people are already using, they can see the real value in that. Then we turn on kind of the token switch. And so that's why we're taking a little bit of a different approach. As mentioned, our copy trading app should be coming out at the end of this month. And so actually in our kind of private alpha testing group right now, we already have a couple million US$ of people that are using our platform, and we're already generating revenue from that. So the traction is fantastic.
It's amazing.
But we want to make sure that everyone that uses our platform actually does make money. So far, in fact, everyone that's have been using our platform is profitable.
Really?
Because you can imagine, if you can copy the top traders out there, because all of their trades are on chain, and you can do it in an instant, that is definitely a profitable strategy.
Yeah.
In Web2 with stocks, people can copy Nancy Pelosi, for example. But with stocks, there's a 45-day reporting delay.
Okay.
So it doesn't make as much sense. And you also don't really see their whole kind of portfolio. But with crypto, because everything is on chain, and you can take leverage as well, you can copy their trades instantly. Yeah. And our platform does that instantly for you in a mobile app.
I love it.
It's awesome. We're super excited about it.
I remember I was talking to the guy that founded Pantera, and they have a liquid token fund. And I remember asking him about trading crypto, and he said, Brian, we have, I think they had 40 or 50 or 60 people on their desk trading that liquid token fund. And he said, we barely know what we're doing. Yeah. He said, so if an individual, without all of our knowledge, thinks that they're going to be able to beat the market, it's extremely rare, and we all know that. The stats are 95% of crypto traders lose money, and it's probably true. So if you can crack this, that would be epic. And you have something that everyone else is jealous of, John, and that's that user base.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, you're right now doing your private beta. Even if you tap 1% of that base, that's bigger than anybody else's user base.
Yeah.
And let me say one final thing, and this is a question for you. You really get one chance to launch that, right? So you got to make sure that product is excellent, right, before you do it, because if you lose out to your own audience, you might not get a second shot. And that's kind of why you're being careful, I guess.
Extremely careful. Like we have a ton of interest in using our platform. Like I literally have WhatsApp conversation of people like begging me, please, I don't care, it's not fully done
I
yet.
want in.
Just let me use it right now. And I have a big wait list of people that want to use it. But as mentioned, like I understand that trust is actually everything. And because we are here to build a product that lasts rather than just are based on hype. And so that's why we're just very, very selective in who we let into our private beta so that we make sure everyone's winning. And we actually provide the wallets that people can copy. And we have very comprehensive data analytics built into the mobile app where you can see like, hey, this trader is this type of trader. This is kind of their risk return profile. These are all their advanced kind of like, I don't know, like Sharpe ratio, Sortino ratio, all of those built into the app so that they can decide, oh, this guy is good and I'll copy them. And so we've kind of been very meticulous in designing our platform such that most, if not all of our users should be profitable because in the first place, we only show them profitable traders that have a long history of execution.
Okay. So there's a real education component here with what you're doing.
Yes and no, because our platform is made such that it's super user-friendly.
Okay.
We've looked at a ton of like Web2 fintech platforms like Robinhood, such that like the whole user experience is exactly like that.
Nice.
And I think for only people that do care about like the really detailed analytics, they would care about those like Sortino, Sharpe ratio that I mentioned, and we also have actually built in our own proprietary scoring system for these wallets. But I think for the most day-to-day kind of retail users, they can just look at the total P&L, the drawdown, the monthly returns that we show, and that should be sufficient for you to at least kind of try a little bit of money and see for yourself that, wow, I'm already profitable versus myself. Like for me, like I've been using my platform for my own platform for about a month, and I'm up about 80%.
Crazy.
So it's really crazy how much upside there is in just delegating this investment to someone else that's good. So it's almost like a fun of fun. You can think of it that way.
This is so important, John, because I know so many people that get into crypto and they punt a meme coin and they get burned and they leave. And I know so many people that get in and they follow somebody on Twitter who pushes a coin that maybe they don't own, maybe they were paid to push, and they get burned. And they walk away saying crypto sucks. And it kills me because I'm such a big fan of Web3 and the internet of ownership and all the upside that it has. And the fact that it democratizes finance and all these things. And yet most people's first experience is terrible. And I started trading on Wall Street in 1993, and I worked in finance for 15 years. And I know one thing, I'm not a good trader, okay? I was a better guy at running a derivatives book and structuring and being a market maker. And what I would love, and so I know I don't try to trade crypto because I know I'm not good at it, but I would love to make money in crypto. And so why not copy someone who, like you said, has a track record for years of making money. It doesn't, what do they say, past results don't represent future returns, but it'll give you a much better idea. So why not start someone with a positive experience?
Yeah, exactly. And I think with our platform, I mean, to be honest, like taking a step back, like why did I build this in the first place is because I was managing my own list of wallets that I was tracking for meme coins. And I thought, hey, you know what? This is definitely a profitable strategy, but I cannot just sit in front of my computer all day just waiting for them to trade and then instantly copy. That's just not a sustainable strategy. So I thought, you know what, maybe I can build a system to kind of automate this. And then I observed that, you know what, just trading meme coins alone is not a sustainable strategy either, because meme coins, it's just a bubble, right? It could go really hot or it could go really bad. What's more sustainable is in trading like the top coins out there. And so with Hyperliquid, as you know, all the coins are out there on Hyperliquid are already like the top coins. And so you have much less manipulation there, and there's a ton of liquidity for you to actually trade in size and copy in size. And I would say like what's unique about our copy trading platform is that unlike a lot of other copy trading platforms where the lead trader creates a portfolio and where they just get a share of the upside, like a carried interest. For us, it's very different actually. The lead trader themselves don't even know that you're copying them, because we are just looking at on-chain data and we're just ranking based on on-chain records, like who's the top trader, and we almost like shadow them without them knowing that we're copying them. And so what that means is a couple of things. Like number one, these lead traders, because they're trading their personal account, right? They are not going to be doing like really reckless leverage as their own money is on the line. And number two, you don't have to share any carried interest with them, so you keep all the upside. So it's a very interesting approach that we took, which I would say is definitely not something that you could do in like Web2. And so super excited about this platform.
Do you have names for these people, or you don't know who they are? They're all anonymous by definition. Or
yes.
do you know some of them are associated with certain people?
Yeah, so I right now have a list of about 500 wallets that I've been monitoring, and we, as mentioned, we've built in like a really detailed kind of filtering system to kind of categorize and rank who's the top traders.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah, so for some of them we do know.
They're public.
We do know, yes. Some of them are public, but to be honest, most of them are anonymous.
And you just have a name for them?
Yeah, we just call them smart wallets. And
Smart
that's
wallet
okay.
4 to 45 and smart wallet 3?
Yeah.
Is that what you call them? Just numbered?
Yeah, well, some of them are like whales, institutions.
Okay.
Like we have different names for it.
Okay.
But yeah, for now, that's what we kind of label them. And to be honest, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
Because you just have to recognize that these traders are trading their own money. It's like your personal account. And so they generally would not do stupid trades. And like I said, they have a long history of execution. And so, yeah, I mean, we're building a very new type of copy trading that's only made possible with Web3.
Now look, copy trading has been around for a while. So how do you go head to head against the competition? What is the competition like right now? Who's top 3 in copy trading?
Yeah, so I would say like most of crypto, like let's just only talk about crypto because as I mentioned, Web2, it just doesn't make sense because there's a 45-day reporting delay.
And blockchain, it does make sense because it's right there.
It's instant.
Right? I mean, it's the perfect thing for blockchain.
Yeah.
You're leveraging one of the beautiful things about blockchain, right?
Yeah.
The transparency.
And it lets our 99% of traders who usually lose money actually start to win money. But for us in terms of competition, there's, I would say like 2 main types of competitors. Number one, like centralized exchanges like Binance, Bybit, etc. They have their own copy trading system, but they're built such that it's like a fault system. So very similar to like a GP/LP structure in hedge funds, where the lead trader creates a portfolio and they deposit a very small amount and lets other people copy them. And so in that case, their risk, their capital, their own personal capital at risk is super limited. And for them, they're actually just incentivized to take very massive risk, because if they make money, they get 20% of the upside. But if they lose money, all they need to do is close the portfolio, start a new one. So the incentive is absolutely not aligned whatsoever with the centralized exchange copy trading. The second type of competitors that are on-chain are actually built on like Telegram. So there's a lot of Telegram bots that copy trade for you. Most of these copy trading bots are just kind of really copy trading memes. As mentioned, it's not really a sustainable approach. But more importantly, for our retail users, like none of them really use Telegram on a daily basis, right? It's such a bad user experience. So for us, we took a pretty radically different approach where we spent the resources to actually build a very easy to use mobile app, basically kind of like a Robinhood, where you can actually copy trade on Hyperliquid, which has the most volume anyway, top tokens that are not memes. Of course, there are some memes on there, but they're already like multi-billion-dollar memes. So that's kind of how we're different compared to a lot of these different guys. And we have a history of building consumer products that are easy to use. We have 2 million users on Moongate. So like we know what we're doing when it comes to building user-friendly products.
Okay. Do you think the Telegram hype is over for now? Because for a while it was big. Obviously, they made a big decision that you had to ultimately launch your token on the Ton ecosystem, and a lot of people stopped developing on the back of that. And then they never really had really a decentralized finance system there. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think
also there's a lot of bots in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of third world country users, and there's a lot of issues. Of course, they say there's 900 million users, and In crypto, we use Telegram, but in America, they don't use Telegram. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. It's not really like a open platform where like non-crypto users can participate in. And I think that's a really big issue because at least for the users that we're trying to target, like they're not on Telegram. And Telegram is just really difficult to use. There's tons of bots, lots of scams, and it's just very distracting. The whole user experience, like your app is secondary. It's just a subset of Telegram. And for me, I want to build out like a copy trading only app. So where you can focus on like, if I open this app, I'm just using it to copy trade, nothing else. Like ignore all the different scammer and bots that are trying to DM me. Like all I'm trying to do is just make money here. And that's why I think a lot of these other Telegram apps, obviously a lot of them have done well and have launched a token, but you don't really see much noise about them anymore because a lot of them really are just farming the numbers. Like they'll have, I've like 100 million users that are clicking every day, but like what real value does that bring over time? Like are you actually, besides the airdrop that people are literally just farming for, like how do you retain users post token launch? Like there's no value whatsoever. And so I think that's why a lot of these Telegram apps don't really last after token launch.
Peter Thiel took $500,000 and turned it into $1 billion using the exact same techniques we're using inside the investment club. He met a CEO, his name was Zuckerberg. He pitched him the deal and he said, okay, I'll give you $500,000. Mark went public and sold the shares to people like you. Well, what happened to Peter? Well, he exited and got a 2,300x return. The wealthy invest in early stage companies, folks. The public markets are for suckers. It's a rigged game. By the way, this happens in crypto as well. It's called pre-sale tokens. This is Solana. Does anybody know this chain? They sold pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. And you can see the date on there, April 5th, 2018. Look at Solana today, folks. That thing's up over 1,000x. The media and Wall Street and all these hype people get you to buy the top. Meanwhile, they put their clients in at the bottom and they use you for liquidity to make their clients rich. You can play this same game. You just have to have the financial education and the deal flow. That's it.
And why we are not building on that Telegram bot direction as well.
You said your user isn't on Telegram. Who is your user?
It's a lot of people. We service clients across, I think, 40 plus countries around the world.
But who's your avatar? Like what top 10 countries? How old are they? What's their income?
Yeah, so as mentioned, because most of our users are through like people that attend these Web3 conferences. So the demographics are basically those people. So these people are quite wealthy. Obviously, because if you're flying into a country to attend a crypto conference, you have to be like somewhat well off. They are very active in crypto, or at least they're very interested in crypto to attend the event. And most importantly, they're not like passive people that are just like exposed to crypto but not doing anything. Like they're actually actively trying to learn and utilize different crypto applications. So they're inclined to try different things that we kind of throw to them. And I think what's unique with our top funnel is because it's a B2B to C platform, where if Token 2049 brings in new users, in a way, they're actually kind of helping us to grow our user base too. And same case with Binance, with ETH Denver, and all the other kind of top clients that we work with. And so it's such a kind of efficient way for us to scale. And because that business by itself is actually already profitable. So now we can spend all our resources to just build out apps that make sense. And just be around for a long time.
But you can't go after the Web2 user, which is the growth strategy for many Web3 companies, right? They're trying to get the Web2 user, to use their game and then later give them a wallet, or they're trying to get the Web2 user to use this system. But you really are waiting for that Web3 user right now.
So I guess that's a good way to put it. So, we've also serviced like major like music festivals in Web2 as well. And that's a younger demographic that might be more crypto savvy. So you're kind of onboarding new people or making them aware of the possibilities. Generally, those people are like more tech savvy. We work with like ComplexCon, Wonderfruit, like quite a few other major institutions that have a lot of Web2 users. But I would say also, like, yes, we have a top funnel to bring in users, but even on an application level, we can bring in users that way as well. Like with the copy trading platform specifically, I've talked to a lot of my Web2 friends who, like you mentioned, like they want exposure to crypto, but they know they suck at trading. So this is just the best way for them to participate and be able to capitalize on the upside if it does come. And so,
to continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.